All right, guys, I'm back on part two, and as I left off, Punk having the altercation with the fan in the crowd. I'm gonna go. I know everybody has their opinions on how they feel about this whole situation. I'm gonna say, as my thoughts, what Punk did. No, it's not justifiable. It was not right, but at the same time, I completely would have done the exact same thing, probably. I mean, from I watched the video. I saw the guys, pushing him, shoving him. He got punched several times from back. I mean, people, as a fan, you cannot do this. That is not acceptable behavior. Now, yes, it was bad on WWE's part that security didn't clear the route for Punk before he went up there and made sure, people weren't doing that. So it's not just Punk. Everybody's at fault here. The fans are at fault. Punk's at fault. The security's at fault, and WWE's at fault for not making sure security was there. So everybody's at fault here. It was a bad situation. Punk has apologized to the fan. I'm sure WWE's going to make it up to the guy that Punk did. And, everybody's saying, oh, he hit the fan. He backhanded the guy and pushed him down to his seat. It's not like he sat there and was like punching him till the guy was dying or kicking him or anything. He simply backhanded him and pushed him down. Yes, I know he shouldn't hit the fan, period, but the fan shouldn't hit him. I mean, that's the understandable. I mean, the thing that needs to be understood here. So, like I said, I'm not justifying what he did. He should not have hit the fan, but at the same time, the fan should not have hit him. And like I said, everybody's in the wrong in this situation. So, I'm going to move on from that. I finally have my picture of main event that I didn't have last week, and I really like main event. I'm liking the direction WWE's taking with it. They're being smart about it. I like the fact that promos are being cut on main event. It's being, like I said, it's being used to continue storylines like from Raw and SmackDown. If they keep that up with main event, I can see it being very successful. Ratings definitely increasing. It can become, very important as far as Raw and SmackDown go, and utilizing, the stars the right way for the promos, for feuds, etc. So moving on, the show started off with like the previous one did, where they did a Punk and Sheamus montage. They did a montage with Show and Orton. They took Orton's from his DVD. They just used recent footage of Show when he made his heel turn back with Big Johnny. So yeah, Show beat Orton clean in the match. It was a pretty decent match. Clearly, WWE was trying to make Show look dominant going into his match with Sheamus at Hell in a Cell. Like I said, this good example right here. This is a continuation from a SmackDown feud being resolved. So, good usage of main event. That's the important thing here. Kofi beat Michael McGillicuddy. When I saw this as the main event match of the show, I was like, okay, this is a little pointless. I mean, it was a good match as far as goes because Kofi's a great competitor and so is Michael McGillicuddy. So like, all right, decent match, but then then WWE actually surprised me. Miz came to the ring, and him and Kofi kind of talking, basically set up for next week. It's gonna be Miz versus Kofi for the Intercontinental title. Again, this is good utilization of main event, and if they keep it up like this. And I know some people may be like, oh, it's only for the IC belt, it's only Miz and Kofi. Yes, it's not, Sheamus versus Big Show for the heavyweight title in main event. You're not going to see that, though. You don't see that on Raw and SmackDown. If it does happen, you already know the champion's going to retain, more than likely, unless on that rare occasion, like when Orton beat Christian to take his belt. I don't know why WWE did that, but I mean, point being, this is good utilization. This is a feud being continued from Raw. And it's just good. It draws attention to next week's episode. Gives you something you want to see on there. Because the belt might change hands. You don't know. I love The Miz. I think Kofi's a great competitor. I'm definitely excited to see his match. So it's something I look forward to. Like I said, very good use of main event so far. Superstars has been removed from a week in wrestling. Guys, I didn't want to do this. But basically, after going back and watching last week's episode where I really had nothing to say about Superstars, I had to make this decision. I can't describe a match, a feud, people's crowd reaction to someone based off of 2 minutes. And like I said, the videos are 2 minutes, but you get like maybe a minute and 30 seconds of the match. And so it saddens me to do it. I took Superstars off. From what I understand, I think it's on Hulu Plus now. But like I said, I don't really have an interest to pay. I think it's only like $8, the same like Netflix. But I don't really feel like paying $8 a month just to watch Superstars every week. You know, Superstars is the opposite of main event. It's not really, you know, it's just a show basically for people who aren't on Raw and SmackDown to compete, and every now and then they'll have decent people compete in a pretty good match. But yeah, it's not, unless WB decides to start putting it back on YouTube again, which they should, because I'm pretty sure nobody's really going to watch it anymore now, and eventually it's just going to lead to the show's cancellation. Is just what I see happening. So yeah, so bye bye Superstars. Next up, we move on to the Go Home show for Bound for Glory, which I am ordering this weekend. So my pay-per-view review of Bound for Glory will be a good one. And speaking of which, I'm jumping ahead. Predict a Match will be up very soon as well. The show started off with Aries versus Storm. It was a really good match. Aries came out on top. And just, you know, building up Aries to look good for his match at Bound for Glory. And I'm excited to see the Storm versus Rude feud. I say feud, their match at Bound for Glory. I think it's going to be really good. Hernandez beat AJ. I believe last week Chavo got the win over Kurt. So right now, Chavo and Hernandez are looking really good going into Bound for Glory. And you know, in my honest opinion, I don't really think AJ and Kurt would win the titles. Anyway, I don't think they're like a very cohesive unit as a tag team. They're just one of those tag teams that are just thrown together to me. Like, to me, Hernandez and Chavo make sense. Daniels and Kazarian, it makes sense. They fit as a tag team. When you think Kurt and AJ Styles, you think of two great individual wrestlers, not tag team wrestlers. I mean, that's how I see it anyway. Daniels and Kazarian beat Sting and Bully Ray match via DQ. What happened was Sting told Bully Ray to get a table and set it out there, and Bully Ray power bombed. I can't remember. I think it was Kazarian. He power bombed one of them through the table, and the judge, you know, called for the disqualification. Basically, it was just showing, you know, that Sting and Bully Ray are going to work good as a team going into Bound for Glory. But we're going to talk about that when we get to Predict a Match. Ms. Tessmacher beat Gail in a match, and then after she won the match, Tara came and attacked her from behind, but then Tessmacher ended up leaving, getting the best of her in order to finish her, I believe. So yeah, just trying to make Tessmacher look good going into Bound for Glory. Hardy beat Rude via DQ. It's a pretty good match for the most part. They kind of made Rude look pretty strong in the match, and basically when Hardy was kind of getting back into the match, Rude hit the low blow, and the judge called for the DQ, and Hardy just hit the Twist of Fate afterwards on Rude. So yeah, just trying to make both of them look good. I know I'm going to talk a lot about backstage promos from this episode. A lot of it was just mostly like whoever was competing against each other, just kind of making run-ins, and you know, there was a little tension between Kurt and AJ. Bobby Roode and Storm were kind of hitting each other, and the MMA guy, was it King Mo, came in and broke them up. You know, nothing really spectacular as far as backstage promos went for this week. And then Aries finally makes his heel turn that I've been calling for. You know, he comes out saying that, you know, he's tired of catering to everybody. He's not really jealous of Jeff. He just wants, you know, TNA to cater to him like they do to Jeff. You know, they want him to, he wants the recognition that Jeff has. And he say, you know, he's going to prove he deserves it by beating Jeff this weekend. So we'll see as far as that goes, but he has made his heel turn, and that is what is important. I called that. But I'm pretty sure anybody watching the show could, you know, catch the hints that it was about to happen. I'm going to stop the video here, guys, and continue on SmackDown.